Hey everyone, it's Halloween on eFootball, and to celebrate Halloween they're letting us spend some coins on a couple of random kits and giving us a bunch of Arsenal stuff that isn't very good. Hooray! So, in your inbox you will find Kai Havertz and some kind of mystery. I'll show you what I got for mine in a moment. There's also Jorginho and Gabriel Jesus cards to come. They've all got random positions, don't know why they've done that, none of them look to be particularly good. There's a bunch of points, trainers, GP, whatever to come, the usual kind of stuff. Some avatars if you've got any interest in that whatsoever, and as I mentioned, the kits that you can buy for coins if you want to. And my mystery reward, whatever you call it, is the Jorginho card. So I've got Havertz and Jorginho, so 2 bits of GP for me there. Hooray! And just to give you a closer look at what these cards are actually like, these Halloween cards, so they've given them weird positions. Kai Havertz is now a left back. They've removed all his normal positions as well. Don't know why, but yeah, he's just a left back. And if you max him out, keep in mind in the eFootball Hub, the max level is wrong. They've got it as 26, you'll have to change that. It's actually 23. But if you max him out, all boosted, left back, great down the left-hand side, bit iffy down the middle, not quite quick enough for me, horrible balance. Is he usable? I guess. I mean, look at the skills they're giving him. They're giving him a brilliant set of skills for a left back. So, yeah, I mean, if you're new to the game, it could be a really good left back to pick up. But and for Arsenal fans, maybe interesting. But there's not many points to be spared from around here on this technicals. So I don't know if you can really make him a usable left back. If you've got anyone, you know, if you've got half decent left back options. But that's what he looks like when he's maxed out. So like I say, plenty of qualities there, great section skills, but I'm not sure we can quite make him a particularly good left back. Jorginho is at centre forward for some weird reason. I guess that's what happens at Halloween. We play in different positions to where we normally play, and of course they've taken away his normal positions again. So he's just got centre forward, max him out, fully boosted. Is he any good? Well, the awareness absolutely sucks for centre forward, but his finishing is absolutely incredible. So yeah, for me personally, you can't. I mean, they've already gone up to 12 in dexterity. You can't give him good enough attacking awareness to be a good centre forward. But if you were to take all the points of shooting, one thing you could possibly do with Jorginho is you could make him an SS if you got the position trainers, because if you look at the skills he's got, obviously he's got all the shooting skills for centre forward, but if you gave him one touch pass, through passing, position training for SS, you could actually make him a pretty tidy SS, I guess. So they could be used for this card, because he doesn't, obviously the finishing is incredible, and you can make him pretty usable as an SS. So that's something you could do with this Jorginho card. And then lastly, don't know the maximum level for Jesus yet. I've not got him, and the max level is not on eFootball Hub, but he's down as a right wing forward. He's got the skill set that he needs for a centre forward. I don't know how much they've changed from when he's a centre forward. So again, if you've got the position trainers, if you position train him for centre forward, and if his max level is anything like the other ones, this is just me guessing, but if it was around 25, say, if you position train him for a centre forward, you could make him pretty good. So yeah, I don't know, possibly you might have ways of position training some of these players and finding use for them, but yeah, to me they're pretty weird, and I think for most people they're not going to be worth keeping. There's going to be a bit of free GP really. This is the first of the Halloween kits that you can get, orange and purple. It's pretty cool, to be fair, not a bad kit. And this is the second. It's pretty mad, but yeah, I think they're both pretty decent kits, to be fair. They will both cost you 300 coins. If you're an Arsenal fan, you're really in luck today. So not only have you got that Halloween stuff, but they've released an Arsenal pack. It's the only one they've added. I don't know why they've only added Arsenal, but if you're an Arsenal fan, happy days. And for some other people, this might be a good pack to pick up. So you've obviously got 11 player cards in there, but you've also got Arteta. And if we have a quick look at Arteta, as you can see, double booster. So we've got our first double booster manager. I'm pretty sure it's the first time we've had that. I'll probably do another video, separate video reviewing this pack especially, so it'd be interesting to see how good it is. One bit of good news, Co-op is back for a few days at least, so we get a few days of doing something fun that isn't divisions. We've got the usual events, this London Clubs one. You basically just get a couple of EXP trainers and then a random booster token. Great. There's your regular one where you get the 50 coins, 1 skill trainer, then 2 skill trainers for the 3 wins. That's the one that came on Monday. And then AI events, that's the national teams, is to get your player of the week spin. Done that already. And this London Clubs one, it's not bad, to be fair. You got obviously position trainers, the main one, but you get a bit of GP, trainers, more GP, skill trainer, more EXP, then position trainer. So there's a few decent things to come from that AI event. These ones I've already done from last week. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the events. I did mention I'll come back to this item in my inbox. So we've got a little kind of news item. They're basically saying that after the extended maintenance they had on the eFootball Points website, people whose points expire at the end of that month are going to get reimbursed with some points, which is kind of nice in theory. But if we go to the eFootball Points store, as you'll see, what's the point in giving us more points with nothing to spend them on? Sure, it's nice to compensate people, but it seems like every single month I have loads of points expiring and there's nothing to spend them on. So 7 days from now, 14,000 points expiring. I'm sure I'm not the only one. A lot of us will be in the same boat. And it's just pathetic. It's not difficult to just put 1 or 2 basic players in here. We've had Vinny, we had Levy Cole, we had a few before that like Trippier, but they've added no new ones with 7 days until my points expire. I'm guessing a lot of people are going to have the same situation. Are they going to add someone on Monday, even next Thursday when there's hours to go? I mean, they might do, I guess. I'm not expecting it. They've added some Halloween kits for us to spend coins on. Could they not have put them in here to spend it to redeem points for them? They could have done, but they chose not to. So yeah, more EXP trainers for me, I guess, at the end of the month, unless a miracle happens. I'm not expecting anything. So onto the packs. We have a new J-League monthly Showtime pack, which for a lot of us like me who don't get the J-League challenge anymore is now pretty pointless. So they're not getting any coins off me. Well done, Konami. Player of the week we're going to review in this video. I'll come to that. We do have another Turkish League pack. Now if we look in here, it's another mixed bag. So as you can see, we've got a few, there's a 3-star, got a few 4-stars in there. 5-star Jedson. I've got a 5-star Jedson already, which has been quite decent for me in the Turkish League challenge. Ismail Yüksek, probably said that wrong, 5-star defensive mid, and of course Victor Osimhen. A lot of people have been calling for an Osimhen Galatasaray card. We've now got 2 because there's one in Player of the Week as well. So there's a few pretty interesting looking cards in there, but the bad news is, like with the J-League pack, what's the point? You know, if you're in Turkey, you get the Turkish League challenge, then yeah, it could be an interesting pack. I might do a review video of this pack, but I'm not sure it's good enough on the whole. But for a lot of us, including me, I don't get the Turkish League challenge anymore. So again, they're not going to get any coins off me because this pack for me is largely pointless. Well done, Konami. Nothing else new, I don't think. So let's jump into Player of the Week. That's what I'm going to review now. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description for each player. So click the description, there'll be a link to take you to any player that you want to hear about. But we have got all 5-stars this week. We'll start with the lowest rated, and that is Danilo Cataldi. So, Cataldi is one of 2 Fiorentina midfielders who scored twice against Lecce. They absolutely smashed them 6-0 away from home. Kopani got 2. So there was always a good chance one of the 2 was going to make it in. So we've got Cataldi. They've made him a box-to-box. He's normally an orchestrator. I'm pretty sure he used to be a destroyer. Not certain on that, but he's always been kind of a defensive midfielder. Since he joined Fiorentina, I guess he's been playing a bit more offensively. They have not changed his positions in terms of where he can play, but they changed his register position to CMF and DMF, so it doesn't really make much difference though, because you can still play both. Just the player style's changed to box. In terms of his attributes, defensively, he's been nerfed, taken quite a bit off his defensives, but technically, they boosted him a bit. No surprise there. And the biggest boost is to his finishing, of course, because he did score 2 goals. One was a decent finish from just outside the box, and the other one was a very nice free kick, so no surprise that his set piece take has been boosted as well. Outside of that, don't see any major change really. He's just had a decent boost with his defense was getting nerfed, because obviously, you know, I often complain when they nerf certain attributes, but I think if he's played slightly differently to the way he normally did, and he's more of a box-to-box, not a defensive mid, I think that makes sense. I think that's fine, because on the whole, he has had a boost from his GP card, and it is a very different version of him. Unwavering form as well, and he's got a face scan, yep. Looking at the skills, interesting again. I mentioned this on a couple of players in the past, most recently Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think that was last week or the week before, the national team player of the week. Trent scored a free kick and they gave him long range curler. Cataldi scored a free kick. His other goal was not a long range curler, it was a kind of low finish into the corner. Decent finish, but it wasn't a long range curler. And I'm really wondering, does long range curler make a difference to your free kick taking? Because they've done this again. I'm pretty sure there's a 3rd time at least they've done that. They've given someone long range curler for scoring a free kick. Maybe someone else knows that and they can tell me, but it's interesting they've done that, because outside the free kick I don't think he really hit any long range curlers, but they've given him that skill either way. They've also given him knuckle shot. I don't think he hit a knuckle shot in that game. I've only watched the highlights. The free kick was a kind of top corner job. Didn't look like a knuckle shot to me. But yeah, we've got long range curler, we've got knuckle shot, we've got first time shot as well, and long range shooting. So we've got some good shooting skills there, along with that big boost to his finishing attribute. One touch pass, weighted pass, low lofted pass. So Skill-wise, yeah, we've had a boost with the shooting, but we need through passing on the box-to-box. We need interception. I would like 1 or 2 more defensive skills on top of that. So we're lacking a bit skill-wise as a box-to-box. He's a bit slow. I'd like a bit more on the physical and balance. Stamina's a bit borderline. I think that's a little bit low for box-to-box as well. They have nerfed him defensively. He's not particularly strong defensively now. 73 tackling, especially without interception, is not great. He is tidy enough on the ball. He's by no means a dribbler. Passing is pretty good, but he does lack through passing. So yeah, he is the lowest rated in the pack, but for a 5-star centre midfield box-to-box, sure, it's an interesting version of Cataldi compared to his GP card, and he's had a bit of a boost certainly with his shooting, but on the whole, as a centre mid box-to-box, some decent attributes there, some qualities, but on the whole, yeah, he's not a brilliant card for me. Next we have Kalulu from Juventus. So this is an interesting one. I watched the match against Lazio. They've made him an extra frontman. He's always been a destroyer in the past. They made him an extra frontman. I'm guessing this card is basically because he's the reason that Romagnoli got sent off for Lazio. Because Kalulu went surging forward through the middle. He was running in on goal. Romagnoli took him down and Romagnoli got sent off. So it seems like for that reason alone, they've made him extra frontman and put him in player of the week. Because outside of that, I didn't think he really did much. I did not think he was going to make it into player of the week, but I don't know. What do I know? All I did was watch the match. But yeah, it's a decent Kalulu card. There was a version of Kalulu in a Milan pack, AC Milan pack, which I bought, which was decent at the time. But it's yeah, I mean, those cards, most of those cards are a bit out of date now because they've been better versions of most of the players by now, and it wasn't on the same level as the more recent versions of Kalulu, that Kalulu card. We've had a couple of trainable ones since then. Both of them a bit better on the whole, mainly due to the defenses being a bit better. But this one has got more pace than those. Although those previous versions, the trainable ones are trainable. You can obviously shuffle the points around. Compared to the GP card of Kalulu, his defenses have been nerfed slightly, but they boosted his pace and his stamina a bit. And skill-wise, we've had a few skills added. So they've added low lofted pass. Don't remember him playing any lofted passes, but I might have missed that. Gamesmanship, that'll be for getting Romagnoli sent off, I guess. He didn't really do much though, he just got fouled. It wasn't exactly a dive. Aerial superiority, good. Blocker, sliding tackle, already got interception and man marking, so not really worried about low lofted pass and gamesmanship, but as a centre back, we've got some good skills there now. Man marking, interception, blocker, aerial, sliding tackle. Would be nice if we had heading. So his heading probably won't be brilliant, but outside of that, we've been improved skill-wise for a defender. So yeah, I mean, just looking at it in isolation, as a centre-back, he's not the tallest, he's just shy of 6 foot, jumping 82, so even with aerial superiority now, he's not going to be great in the air, and the physical contact only 80 as well. That's low for a centre-back. The defensives, the core defensives are decent. He's not weak there, he's not outstanding, but he's not weak. And he's got very good pace for a centre-back though. That's the strength with this guy. So he's rapid. Down the left he's okay. Defensives are pretty decent. Physically and aerially a bit lacking. But this is pretty much what you expect from a Kalulu card. But that's the strength. It's the pace. The speed's going up to 90 with the game plan boost and acceleration in the 80s. So he's rapid for a centre-back. He's got a good selection skills. For a version of Kalulu as just a real pacey centre-back, it could be this one. It's just the physical nail for me is a bit lacking. And that extra frontman playing style as well is not for everyone, because that playing style on a centre-back, he will go roaming forward quite a bit. So something to keep an eye on. He does also have right-back. Could you play him at right-back with the pace? Definitely. All these attributes down the right, except arguably his stamina. I think certainly make him usable as a right-back. He might be one of those ones where if you like a real defensive fullback, you might want to put the defensive instruction on him at right-back and use him as a defensive fullback, in which case he could do well for you, because the defensive attributes are fantastic for a right-back. And like I say, the pace is fine. He's got good strength physically. Just the stamina, he might get a bit tired. But down the left-hand side, that'll be what makes or breaks it for you if you want to use this guy as a right back. For me personally, he's nowhere near good enough technically. But for some people, if you just wanted to be a kind of auxiliary centre back and you don't really mind these technicals being a bit low with the other strengths he's got, he could be pretty usable as a defensive fullback. Just comes out to that left column really. But yeah, he's a guy. He's a card that's got some real qualities there. As a centre back, certainly he's got good pace, but the caveat being the physical and aerial being a bit low. As a right back, like I said, the left column defines it. But he's got some qualities there. On the whole, I don't think it's a brilliant card, but with the qualities he's got, if he suits you either at right back or centre back, I think for a lot of people you could certainly get some value out of him. Now we have Curtis Jones from Liverpool. So he had a really good game against Chelsea in the 2-1 win. So they've not changed anything with the positions or the playing style. Previous versions, we had one trainable from one of those legend boxes. That was a bit better than this one. What have they really changed? I mean, from his GP card, boosted physical contact, his finishing's had a nice boost. Apart from that, just a kind of decent boost on the whole, really. Nothing major standing out to me. Looking at the skills, big boost here. So they've added one-touch pass and through passing. Interesting. They've taken away Rabona. I think we can certainly live without that. And flip-flap, I don't think that's a massive loss. The skillers might be disappointed, but I think certainly one-touch pass and through passing on any midfielder, big addition. Outside curl's a nice one as well. We've got long-range shooting, rising shot, long-range curler. With that boost to his finishing, he won't have amazing shooting, but will certainly be significantly better than his GP card. With one-touch pass and through passing, his passing will be decent, not amazing. It depends where you're playing, really. He's an attacking midfielder, or a centre midfielder. I think 85 is kind of borderline. Certainly with one-touch pass and through passing, you'll be all right, but it could be a bit better. On the ball, very nice. For a midfielder, again, depends where you're playing. Through the middle, the pace is fine. Kicking power is fine. Balance is fine. Physical contact, not bad on a pretty attack-minded player. Stamina 82, especially with a whole player playing style, that's a bit iffy. So if you're playing with centre mid, attacking mid, or left mid, he will be playing with that whole player playing style active. He'll be making a lot of forward runs, and he will be getting tired. So keep an eye on that. He's not a super sub, but yeah, he's either going to be getting tired or you're going to bring him off the bench. But yeah, on the whole, it's an alright card. Pretty good on the ball. The passing will be decent, but not amazing. I don't think he's got the pace ready to play wide left, but that might be okay for you. I don't know. Certainly left midfield, making good attacking runs. You could certainly, maybe you could allow the fact that he's not the quickest, but yeah, he's not amazing really. On the left, I would want more pace. Through the middle, I'd want a bit more passing. But it's a decent version of Curtis Jones. For some people, it could be a decent one. It looks like he could be decent on the ball. He's got some qualities there, just not an amazing one. So yeah, could be for you if he suits you. If he's got the kind of profile to suit you, through the middle or wide left, could be a decent one to pick up. For me, I don't think it's a bad card. I just don't think it's a particularly amazing one. And somehow I just skipped straight to John Stones. Why'd I do that? This is where I was going to go. Our goalkeeper, Bart Verbruggen. So, I'm not sure whether Konami watched the match, because Verbruggen did have a good game, but Newcastle didn't really test him. We were just rubbish. I don't think he really did anything that amazing as a keeper, to be honest. I don't think he was one of the best goalkeepers at the weekend, but for whatever reason, they've decided he's good enough to be player of the week, and he's pretty good. So, goalkeeper awareness, you're getting to 90 with your game plan boost. If you've got an 88 rated manager, catching's decent enough at 84. Parring's great. That's going past 90 with your game plan boost, as is reflexes, and reaches already at the 90 mark. We got a good goal here. Compared to his GP card, obviously they boosted him a bit across the board, really, but it's the parrying that's had a big boost from his GP card. This is a really good goalkeeper. Obviously, it's a player of the week keeper, so he can't jump to save his life. I'm tired of having that rant. Distribution is not brilliant, though he does have low punt. But yeah, when you get this guy into your game plan with a good enough manager, awareness, parrying, reflexes reach all 90 plus, and catching isn't even bad. This is a good keeper. He's quite tall as well. I don't really see anything weak about him apart from the lack of jumping, which you expect on a player of the week keeper. So yes, he's not on the level of the kind of, you know, the crazy epic double booster legend goalies, the likes of Schmeichel or whoever else. But yeah, for a player of the week keeper, this is a good one. I don't see any weakness there, and I think for most people, especially for the English League Challenge, if you still get it, I don't know if people outside of Europe still get it. I don't know what they're doing with the region lock in these events, but yeah, this is just a good goalkeeper card. Next, it's Luka, yet again. We've had about 3,000 Luka Modrić cards. We have plenty of player of the week ones. Did he do enough at the weekend to get in? I didn't watch the match, but I'm not sure. But I don't know. Konami makes some weird decisions, but yeah, it's another decent Modrić card. It's obviously not the best version of Modrić. It's not up there with the very highest rated ones, but it's still a decent one compared to his GP card. Physical contact's probably had the most significant boost, I think, and slightly enough the technicals. Otherwise, yeah, it's a decent version of Modrić, really. Orchestrator, that playing style will be active at centre mid. 80 stamina, he's going to get tired. You could probably expect that, a player of his age. But he is now a super sub. So we've got a super sub version of Modrić. That's the only change they've made, and they've removed Sombrero. I think we can live without that. Obviously, we've got the passing skills, got a few shooting skills. It's another version of Modrić. There's nothing really particularly different about it. If you play him as a centre mid, as an orchestrator, like I say, stamina's low. He's not the strongest, of course. He's not great defensively. But you could also play him as an attacking midfielder. As an attacking midfielder, you could really make the most of the attacking abilities. I've often used the versions of Modrić that I've had as an attacking mid rather than a centre mid. I think he's most effective there, but by all means, you could play him centre mid. Just keep in mind of the weaknesses that he's got. But on waving form, he is a super sub. And yeah, there's not a great deal to say about this guy because they've not really done much about him. They've not changed much with the positions, the play style. The attributes haven't been shuffled around a great deal. And with skills, it's really just super sub for sombrero, really. So it's just another version of Modrić. Of course, it's a good one. It's not up there with the very best version of Modrić, but it's certainly a good one. If you don't have a good version of him, it's well worth having this card. But yeah, nothing particularly exciting about it for me. And now we have Destiny Udogie from Tottenham. So we got a left back, and he's a pretty decent looking left back. So they've changed him for his regular playing style. He's normally a fullback finisher, which I don't like because a fullback finisher will go drifting up into the midfield and they'll be caught out of position a little bit. But attacking fullback for me is my favourite playing style in a fullback. That's what they've given him this time. We've had a few versions of Udogie. So we've had a couple of trainable ones from Legend boxes or Showtime boxes. Not sure exactly what boxes they were. They were about the same level as this one. They were trainable though. If you compare this card to them, we've got a bit less on lower body. That seems to be the what they've nerfed here. So we've got a bit less on speed, kicking power, and stamina, but more on passing. And we've got more defensive awareness than those two trainable ones, and a bit more defensive engagement than one of them as well. But again, you can train those cards as well, so you can shuffle them around, but it's around about the same level as those ones. Comparing to his GP card, again, it's the lower body. Speed, kicking power, stamina, all down a bit. Don't know why, very annoying. But apart from that, decent boost. You know, for a left back, like I said, this looks like a pretty good card. We've got good pace, physical's okay, balance is just about okay for me. Stamina's okay, defenses are pretty good. Down the left, pretty decent. It looks like a good solid left back to me. And if we look at his skills, we've had a pretty nice boost here. This is where it gets really interesting compared to other versions of Udogie. So they've added one-touch pass, through passing, pinpoint crossing, man marking, interception, aerial superiority. Wow, that's quite the upgrade. So we've gone from having a real bad lack of skills on this guy to having a really good selection of skills for an attacking left back. Really good. So this for me is probably the most interesting version of Udogie that we've had. Sure, you can put skills on those trainable ones. Nothing to stop you from making any of those ones as good as this one if you give him the skills, if you train him however you want to train him. But this for me is a really good version of Udogie. I'll be very pleased if I get this. I think when that English League Challenge pops up, this is a really good option at left back. I don't think there's any real weakness there, to be honest. Maybe there's like a little bit more in his tight possession, maybe a little bit more balance, but I think I'm nitpicking there. He's got a face scan. I think he got a face scan not too long ago. Yeah, this is a good solid left back. It's not an incredible one. There's nothing about it that's amazing, but there's no real weakness there for me. And the skills they've added are a massive upgrade on the whole. So yeah, as an attacking left back, this to me is a pretty good solid card. I'm quite keen to get this one. Next we have John Stones, another last-ditch goal for Man City. So that's becoming a specialty. This is a decent version of John Stones. So you compare him to the better versions of John Stones that we've had. The defensive attributes aren't quite so good, but we've had a decent boost on his physicals, and this is a booster as well. The boost is going to be interesting. So already a bit of a boost on his physical and aerial ability. And if we look at the skills before we activate the booster, they have added aerial superiority as well. So we've got heading has been added, one-touch pass has been added, man marking, and block as well, but also aerial superiority. So we've got a good selection of skills on this John Stones. We've got heading and aerial, man marking, interception, blocker, slide and tackle. I think the only thing he's really lacking is acrobatic clearance, maybe fighting spirit, but we've got a really good selection of skills there. And like I say, with the attributes and the skills, he's been boosted a bit aerially and physically compared to some previous versions of him. And if we activate the booster, very interesting. So we get even more on these attributes down here, the jumping and physical especially. So yeah, you compare him to his GP card, they have nerfed his defensive attributes slightly, but they're still pretty good on the whole. Pretty nice boost on his acceleration and his stamina. But yeah, even before that booster, they boosted his jumping and his physical a bit. but with aerial superiority being given to him as a skill, and with that, and when he's on A form, getting this boost that he's got, this is a really interesting looking version of John Stones. I'll be very happy if I get this one, to be honest. I got the version from that, whatever that pack was called last time, where they gave him really good on the ball attributes, the dribblers one. So that one's certainly a bit different, but this one, just as a straight up centre back, this is a good card. The defensive, sure, is a bit frustrating. They've been nerfed a little bit, but they have boosted him elsewhere. Again, I do complain when they nerf certain attributes, but if they boost him enough elsewhere, if there's an interesting enough version on the whole, I think this is a good example of where it's okay to nerf him a little bit in some areas if they make him better elsewhere. And they have, I think, with the skills and the attributes, made this a very good version of John Stones when he gets A form especially. So, yeah, other positions, right back, no, too slow. Defensive midfield, you could get away with in defensive midfield if you don't mind his technicals being a bit low. For me personally, he's not good enough on the ball. His passing is not good enough to play defensive mid, but you might disagree. But yeah, certainly as a centre back, this for me, it's an interesting version of John Stones. They've not changed a lot in terms of playing style, positions or anything, but with the boost they've given him on his attributes and with the skills they've given him, this for me is a good centre back card. Where are we going? Right, so next is Gavi. I don't understand why they put him in Player of the Week. I didn't watch the match, but to the best of my knowledge, this is his comeback from injury. I guess that's all it is, because he came on as a sub for like 5 or 10 minutes and he didn't really do anything. I don't see anyone giving him particularly high ratings or reviews. He just came on as a sub for a few minutes and made his comeback from injury. Is that enough to put him in Player of the Week? It shouldn't be, in my opinion. There are plenty of players who are more deserving of a place in Player of the Week. They just put him in because they're happy that one of their Barcelona Golden Boys is back from injury. I think it's a frankly terrible decision, but yeah, either way, we got a Gavi. They've changed it from whole player to box based on about 5 minutes as a sub, and they've given him captaincy as well. I guess they gave him the captain's armband to welcome him back from injury. Great. He's lost gamesmanship. Fair trade, I think. So apart from that, the usual skills, bunch of skill moves, one-touch pass, through passing, heel check and outside curler. So he's going to be good in the ball, good passing, but nothing defensively. And as much as he's got some decent defensive attributes, at least with the aggression and the engagement, his tackling is not brilliant and his defensive awareness is poor. So yeah, it's a question of where you play him. I'm just never really sure what to make of Gavi when I've had one or two versions of him in the past. I've never really found the real use for him in my, in any of my kind of teams for the Spanish League Challenge primarily. That's not to say it's not a good card. Pretty much all versions of Gavi are, and this one certainly is a decent one. It's not quite other with the best versions we've had of him. In terms of what they changed with the attributes, finishing's had a bit of a boost. I guess he had 1 or 2 shots, albeit he didn't score. Physicals have had a bit of a boost as well. Slightly nerfed some of his defensives. So yeah, it's a decent version of Gavi. As a box-to-box, you might like him, but for me personally, centre mid box-to-box, I want a bit more tackling and defensive awareness. I want the interception skill as well, so I don't really think it's a great box-to-box card. Attack midfield or wide left without an active playing style, I wouldn't play him wide left without more pace. Attacking midfield, yeah, maybes. Without an active playing style, attacking mid, pretty good on the ball, good passing. Finishing might not be brilliant, but it's been boosted. That might be the best place to use him, to be honest, but yeah, it just comes down to whether he fits into your team, I guess, and whether you want a Gavi card, because it's a decent one. I just, as much as it's not a bad card at all, I don't personally think he's quite got the attributes and skills to be a good box-to-box centre mid, even though he is a good card in the whole, obviously. But yeah, mainly to me, I just don't think he deserves to be in Player of the Week. But yeah, it's a pretty good card, and if it suits you, it could be a good one to pick up. And now we have Victor. So this is not a surprising inclusion in Player of the Week. He came off the bench, he scored an overhead kick. He had a goal disallowed as well, but the overhead kick was great. So no great surprise to see Osimhen in Player of the Week with the super sub skill. So we've got a super sub Osimhen. They give him fighting spirit as well. Interesting. But apart from that, yeah, the usual skills. Obviously, first time shot. And then we've got, of course, acrobatic finishing. He already had that. Heading and aerial superiority as well. And he's had a decent boost to his aerials. So yeah, we've had 1 or 2 slightly better versions of Osimhen in the past, but this is a good version of him. If you compare him to his GP card, he's a little bit slower than his GP card, but he is a bit better in the air, that jumping past 90 before the game plan boost. So that's really where the main boost is. But on the whole, it's just a kind of, just a nice version of Osimhen. Pretty good one. The other one I mentioned briefly before we started looking at these Player of the Week players, there is a Turkish League pack where they've included Osimhen in there. Goes to about the same level as this one, really. It's just a slightly boosted version of his GP card, so you compare it to this one, it's basically a little bit of pace versus a little bit of aerial ability, to be honest. If you want more aerial ability, then this might be a better one for you. But if you're more concerned with a bit more pace, that one in the Turkish League pack might be more for you. But you can train the one in the Turkish League pack. So yeah, if you really want an Osimhen card and you don't get this one, there is that one in the Turkish League pack for you. It's around about the same level as this one. But yeah, it's just a nice version of Osimhen. He's got a good awareness. The finishing I'd like to be a bit higher, to be honest. On a 5-star striker, you want to be getting to the 90 mark with your game plan boost. So it's a little bit on the low side, but it's not bad by any means. As I mentioned, he's been boosted a bit in the air with his skills. He's got these attributes: heading 84, jumping 91, physical 81. He's going to be good in the air. They have nerfed his pace a little bit, but he's still quick. He's still going over 90 for speed, acceleration up into the high 80s, goal poacher. So yeah, he's a bit of an all-rounder with a goal poacher. He's not great on the ball. You don't ask too much from on the ball because he's not been too comfortable in possession, but just getting him in behind the defence, giving him chances with his feet and with his head, he's certainly going to score goals for you. Unwavering form. He's now a super sub as well. Bringing this guy off the bench with his pace, his awareness, his aerial ability. Yes, he's not got elite finishing by any means. He's a bit dodgy on the ball, but as a goal poacher with the attributes he's got, it's a pretty decent version of Osimhen. So yeah, for me personally, I like strikers who have got a bit of everything. I've talked about Thuram, that nominating contract Thuram, the fact he's big, he's powerful, he's quick, and he can finish a bit of everything. This is another similar kind of profile with this card. So yeah, if it suits you, if you don't mind your strikers not being too great on the ball, he can certainly take chances with his head and with his feet. And it's a pretty good card. And speaking of strikers who can score goals, we got another one here. We've got another Harry Kane Player of the Week card. He's a booster as well. The only real bad news here is they've not changed his playing style. He's got deep lying forward as his playing style, which for me is horrible. I do not like that playing style. I don't think many people do. For sure, there might be some people who do. If you like that playing style, and if you like Harry Kane, this could be a really good card for you to pick up because it's a good version of him. It might not be quite the best, but it's certainly up there, I think, especially on A form. We did have a recent one in Player of the Week that was a fox in the box. Just for that play style alone, I would have preferred that previous one. Pretty similar on the whole. That one had better passing, but this one's got a bit more balance. We've had a few Player of the Weeks. There was a fox in the box Champions League one. I forget when that was, this season or last. That was not quite as good as this one. But obviously pretty good. All versions of Kane are pretty good, obviously. But yeah, this is a good version of him. This is a good version of Kane. So you've got great awareness and finishing. They have nerfed his awareness and finishing a little bit, but I think, again, I'll criticise when they reduce attributes unnecessarily. But I think when you can afford it, as long as your awareness and finishing getting to at least the 90 mark on one of these 5-star strikers, I think that's fine. So to take a few points away from where you can afford to, stick him elsewhere where he's had a bit of a boost on his pace, a bit of a boost on his kicking power, where he didn't even need it, so that's great. Already 90 kicking power for the game plan boost. Oof. Physical contact up a little bit as well. On the ball as well, boosted a little bit. Yeah, I can accept them taking a bit away from awareness and finishing because on the whole, this is a pretty good version of Kane. I think they made this a very nice card. Looking at the skills, we've lost gamesmanship. They've added long range shooting. That for me is a good trade. So we've got long range curler, dipping shot, long range shooting, acrobatic finishing, first time shot. Clearly, he's going to have very good shooting on him. He's got heading and aerial superiority as well. And yeah, we've got a booster. And what is that booster going to give us? It's going to give us... Okay, so we get a bit back on awareness and finishing. It boosts our ball control even more. So that goes past 90 now with your game plan boost. And we've got the acceleration up to 79. So your acceleration is going over 80. So yeah, this is a very good version of Kane. I can't really criticise anything except for that playing style, and that is subjective. It's just opinion. In my personal opinion, my experience, I do not like that playing style. I don't want to use a centre forward with that playing style, so for me, I don't particularly want this card. But if you're okay with that playing style, this is a very good card. It's a good version of Kane. And if you want a striker who's going to score goals, you don't mind the playing style, a slight lack of pace, albeit they boosted his pace a bit compared to his GP card and a lot of other versions of him. Yeah, he's physically strong, got the awareness and the finishing. Technically very sound. It's a very good card. It's a good version of Kane, this. And of course, we've got Messi. Player of the Week Messi for the first time in a while. He got a hat-trick as a substitute for Inter Miami as they set their all-time points record in the MLS. Not surprising at all to see him make it in. They've made him a roaming flank. That's the one real interesting thing about this card, apart from the fact that he is, of course, a super sub. He's got a booster as well. Let's just go straight to the booster and we'll cut to it. it's just a good version of Messi. If you've got one of the kind of beefy double booster legend epic versions of Messi, there's loads of versions that go right up into the hundreds when they're fully boosted. Obviously, this one's not going to be on the same level as those cards. So if you've got any one or more of those cards, you might not be too interested in this one. But for the rest of us, I think it's a good version of him. He's not. I mean, even compared to previous free ones, you know, for example, that free one we had from the World Cup. I'm not sure this one's any better than that. That one it's slightly different. You know, some of the attributes have been shuffled around a little bit. Obviously, the playing style, roaming flank. There haven't been many roaming flank Messis. I think there's been at least one legend version. Maybe someone can point out if you've had any other roaming flank versions. There's been so many versions that I frankly couldn't be bothered to look through all of them. Yeah, roaming flank. You can play right midfield as well. He doesn't always have right midfield. I think they've added right midfield to his positions quite recently. But yeah, as a roaming flank on that, coming off that right flank, they have boosted his speed a bit. So that helps a lot if you're playing him out wide. Finishing as well has been boosted a little bit. On the whole, I mean, the balance is down slightly and on the ball down slightly, but I don't think you're going to notice that. He's obviously in the 90s for all those attributes. His passing is going to be great. His awareness is great. Finishing is great. I mean, you don't really need to say anything about Messi. You know what to expect from Messi. It's just a version of Messi with, in my opinion, an interesting playing style. Bit of a boost on his speed, which is good. He needed it. Obviously unwavering form, the usual skills. Of course, like I say, they've added super sub. What they sacrificed, chip shot control. We can live without that, I think. So you got all your usual passing and shooting skills there. Not a lot by way of skill moves, and you can't train these cards. So for the real skillers, the dribblers who like doing the skill moves, maybe this isn't a particularly good version of Messi for you, because you can't train it, you can't put skills on him, and always really got his double touch there. So yeah, for a lot of the people who like to dribble a lot and do skill moves, this might not be the most appealing card for me. I'm more interested in the end product, and as a super sub, this is quite an interesting version of Messi, to be honest. When I would use it, I don't know, because we don't get a league challenge where we can use MLS cards, but it's a good card. And yeah, like I say, with a bit more speed, but the roaming flank playing style as a super sub, obviously it's not a bad card, but I think mainly just comes down to whether you've got a better version of Messi. A lot of people probably do have a better version by now, so it might not be interesting, but if you don't have one of those legend versions, yeah, it could be an interesting one to pick up. I think like I say, there haven't been many versions of roaming flank versions of Messi, as I say. I think maybe it's one legend version, possibly two. So yeah, could be an interesting one to have, but probably for a lot of people, you just don't need another Messi, really. So there is your player of the week. It's an alright one for me. Looking at the cards that we've just been, all the cards that we've just been looking at, I think Verbruggen's a good keeper, Stone's a good centre back, Udogie's a good left back, Osimhen's a good striker. If you don't mind the playing style, Kane's a good striker. Gavi, don't think he deserves to be in here, but he's a solid midfielder. If you can find a use for him, if he suits you, could be a good card to have. And then Messi, of course, like I just said, if you don't have a legend version, for a lot of people, it could be an interesting version of Messi to have. It's obviously a good card, so there are some good cards in there. I don't think many people need another Modrić at this point. Kalulu, sure, he's got strengths. If he plays to his strengths and he suits you, could be a very useful one, I guess. Jones and Cataldi, for me, nothing particularly exciting. So it's not a bad pack on the whole. There are some good ones in there. Nothing overly exciting, but yeah, I guess I might as well do my free spin. Who do I want for my free spin? I would take Verbruggen, Stones, Udogie, Osimhen. One of those four. Let's see who we get. I never get who I want. Come on, there's four in there I quite like. The odds are decent. Probably be yet another Messi, won't it? Who is it? Cataldi. Yay! Oh well, it's a bit of GP at least. So there is your player of the week review and a quick summary of today's live update. I'm going to be away next week, so I won't be uploading a review next week of Player of the Week. I'll try and stay active in the community tab and on Discord. I'll at least post my thoughts on there on how good the cards are and stuff for what they're worth. I will, like I say, try and get reviews done over the next few days of the Arsenal pack, and I might do a review of that Turkish League pack possibly as well. I'm going to have a closer look at that, see if that's maybe worth doing a review of. But yeah, keep your eyes out for one or two videos. And outside of that, like I say, I'll be active on Discord and in the community tab over the next week or so while I'm away. So do jump in the Discord. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you found that useful. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you soon.